back on, baby.
We're back on.
Change batteries.
Yep. So next up, there's a new cancellation. Every week we got to have a new person that gets canceled to talk about. And this week it's Cam Newton, former South Carolina Panthers quarterback. He was a beast. You remember that season, bro? How do you go from being like the man and then they weren't that good after that?
Carolina. Sorry.
Huh?
North Carolina Panthers.
North Carolina Panthers? Really?
Yeah,
You're probably right. North better than South anyways. Ugh. You ever been to South Carolina?
Hell no.
I was there last year, bro. Shit was not a vibe.
For real?
Nah, I never been there. Fuck no, bro. But I know some people that are like, yeah, I gotta travel all. Hakeem is really who I'm talking about.
That, bro.
I gotta travel all 50 states. I'm like, bro, you say that, but you don't.
Until
like,
you go to Idaho.
You're gonna go to
Arkansas.
Nebraska like that. You're really gonna book a flight to go fly into Nebraska? Fuck no, bro.
No.
That is the biggest waste of money and waste of. Well, you know, I don't want to shit on Nebraska, but I'm not going to Nebraska. No. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of places, bro. You do not need to go to all 50 states. People in them states are like, why are you here? Like, why did you come here? You're from where? You're from LA. That's a weird travel. You're here for work.
From home, aren't you, boy?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna get
Like, damn.
exactly. But yeah, so Cam Newton in the news. He went on to $1 Million Worth of Game, GOAT podcast for sure. And he basically just shared his views on what he sees in an ideal woman, and he differentiated a bad bitch from wifey material. Let's hear the man's comments.
A perfect
Cool hat.
A perfect example of what a man was in my life by my father. My parents have been together for 36, 37 years now, and it's a beautiful thing. I grew up in a 3-parent household, my mom, my father, and my grandmother.
My dad's boyfriend.
And I knew what a woman was, not a bad bitch.
Okay, what's the difference?
A woman.
Why are they teeing
A
him
bad
up like
bitch
that?
is
Differentiate
a
for us.
person who's just, you know, girl, I'm a bad bitch. You know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I look the part, but I don't act the part.
Okay.
You know,
And the whole look,
it's a
saying that,
lot
they're not
of
gonna ask shit.
women
They're like,
who
you
are
go
bad
ahead.
bitches, and I say bitches in a way not to degrade a woman, but just to go off the aesthetic of what they deem is a boss chick. Now, a woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to a man's needs.
All right.
Right? And I think a lot of times when you get that aesthetic of like, I'm a boss bitch, like I'm a this, I'm a that. No, baby, like, but you can't cook.
Okay.
You don't know when to be quiet.
Can't cook.
You don't know how to allow a man to lead.
Allow a man
Oh,
to
okay. So that's the
lead.
majority of the comments there. Okay.
In relationships, I feel like in some moments men will lead, and in some other moments women will lead. I don't think it could just be one-sided the entire time. But yeah, that could be his.
He said his
preference in
girl
women.
wears the pants. You said it. That's what that means when you're not leading it. There's, sometimes he leads, sometimes I lead. It's like if you have 2 stars on a basketball team and you're like, nah, sometimes he leads the team, sometimes I lead the
That's
team.
not
You,
at
Dwight.
all.
Kobe leads the team.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
all. No, that doesn't. That there's definitely scenarios of when a woman can lead, like versus a man. Because I feel like, what do you mean by just leading the entire relationship? You don't think your girl has moments that she leads versus
I was talking
you?
about what you said. I said that means she wears the pants.
How does she wear the pants?
Because here's what you said. Sometimes I lead, sometimes she leads.
I said
there can only be one.
no, there can't.
You're so wrong.
Well, I don't think he was really making a point. I think I
Yes,
feel like
he was.
I was talking about man.
Yes, he was.
No, I'm talking about them.
I was speaking about man and woman.
You said she calls the shots.
Yeah.
She says if I'm hungry, she decides where we eat.
You're
You said-
twisting
you
my
said-
words.
No, that's exactly
You're
what you
twisting
said.
my
It's
fucking
on
words.
camera. It's
All
on
right.
camera. That's what you said.
You're literally twisting my words.
No.
I said sometimes in relationships a man can lead, and
no.
then in some
No.
scenarios that's where women lead.
No.
All or none. All or none. You gotta decide. All or none.
That's what you
think,
said. That's
Tony?
what I heard.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard too.
Fuck out of here. Y'all some bitches.
I heard you say when she asks for sex, you give her sex, pretty much. Vice
When
versa.
she asks for sex,
Yeah.
that means I'm leading sex. So yeah, I guess
No,
I lead
no,
sex.
vice versa.
What
You're
if,
like, hey, baby,
what if
can
your
I-
head hurts? See, well, you might get a headache, and now you gotta say nah next week.
She's like, bitch, if you don't get down on your
I'm gonna
motherfucking-
promise some sex that stumble upon and be like, yo, I'm a little tired.
But y'all think there's some? Yeah. What
Yeah, I
do y'all
was
think
gonna
about
say,
what he
yeah.
said though? Huh.
Do y'all disagree with anything he said, or not anything he said, but like, how do y'all? Pretty much the same question you just fucking asked.
I just don't think it's wise comments. Like,
Okay.
it's definitely not wise. None of it. Like, I get the gist of what he's trying to say. It just was not really phrased very well. And when you just it just wasn't very deep in terms of like they got to know when to not speak. It did sound kind of barbaric and very like an old school. I just think like you wouldn't marry a girl and be like, man, because she knows when to shut up. She can cook and she knows how to let me run the show. It's like I don't know if those are the characteristics that are like redeeming quality, like the only characteristics that you differentiate. Like my mom was a real woman. My dad called the shots. I think there was more he could have expanded on to make his point make a little bit more sense to the masses.
Well, I think his take
I really want to hear your
today's world, it's like I can see why people were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're saying that," especially with all the conversations around gender roles. But I do understand what he's saying, and I agree with what he's saying. And I would expand upon. I think he's more so referring to like masculine energy versus like feminine energy, and whatever you consider that, right? And the roles that they play. And even if you go back in history, it doesn't matter like what civilization you go to. It's going to be a common, like if you take statistics, whatever you want to say, right? Like boys like trucks, right? In the sense that we're more logical and we're more mechanical. I think Jordan Peterson used this example perfectly, right?
Peter Jordanson.
Yeah, Peter Jordanson. Women will most likely play with dolls. They're more emotional and they're more intuitive. And that's something that's like, that has nothing to do with the roles of society. That's just them, who they are in their character, right? So when you translate that into today's time, talking about like women who are saying, oh, I'm a boss bitch, yada, yada, yada. I think he's more so referring to women who are taking on more so of a masculine role to where they say, I ain't got to do shit. I ain't got to cook. I ain't got to clean. I'm a boss bitch. So now there's kind of a disconnect there. And so it's like, if you want to pursue that in your woman, that's fine. But him growing up, like you said, in a more traditional home, that's what he's seen versus the masculine role where it's like the guy probably goes out and catches the bacon, you know? So, I mean, now we're playing with those ideas a little bit more and open up the conversation. But like, I don't disagree with these.
He should have kept it to, if he just left it on more old school, because the things he expanded on were the things that kind of should.
But she'll know when to shut the fuck up.
The biggest issue is he said it on the wrong podcast. Because Gilly and Wallow were not helping him out at all. They're just, okay.
Go on.
God, bro, they're on Barstool Sports. On like that's where their pod, that's the umbrella to their pod. They're not trying to fuck up their bag, bro. They are not going to chime in one bit to the conversation. Now, if you want on Fresh and Fit, they're gonna give him 10 different points that'll support him and be like, no, this is what you're saying, man. Yeah. This is what you're trying to say, and you're so right. Because I've seen them give points that were similar, but they articulated it in a way that made more sense as far as they were saying, you know, certain women will want the old school things from a man. He should provide, he should do that, but they don't fit the same old school things of like, you know, being able to, I guess, cook or doing stuff that same guy that is a breadwinner would want from a wife or someone that's maintaining whatever. But it makes more sense when you articulate it that way. The way he said it, it's like he was trying to get people riled up. It's actually funny. If you did it on purpose, that would have been like a dope troll.
Yeah.
I would have supported it just on the fact that I like trolling.
Yeah, I felt it.
You felt it.
At first, I didn't even recognize it.
Bro, he needs to go straight to Fresh and Fit so they can help him double down on everything he said. Amazing. Be like, Cam, don't apologize for anything, man. Everything you said was perfectly true, man. It's perfectly accurate.
Cam, you got to say it to this camera, that camera, and this camera.
Yeah.
Straight to their faces one more time.
Yeah. But I mean, I agree, though, because if we're both masculine or playing into that role, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? We're going to be butting heads, and I'm not supposed to be butting heads with my partner in that way. Like, it's okay for... And that's why it's really, this conversation is really more modern about like, I guess women who are verbalizing now like, oh, they don't want to play that role anymore. Whereas back in the day, that was more promoted. Like it was a family nucleus. It's like, okay, she wanted to stay at home. She wanted to do that. Or she might've wanted to go out there, but there wasn't the opportunity on a social level. So now that the social aspect is opened up, now it's like, this conversation is being brought up to where they are able to play into that role more. But I think the media and a lot of other... There's like a lot of outlets that are like, I'll say the media mainly is trying to tear down the family nucleus. So now we see a lot of more masculine or men playing into their feminine energy, which is why we see a lot more people in the LGBTQ more than
and all that. Or?
Yeah, I'm just saying like I don't think there's ever been this many LGBTQIA plus people that are so open about it ever, unless it's just I haven't seen it. Like I don't know. Because I know in history the Greeks were doing shit like that, and there's different civilizations. But I think now it's like it's different. Like it's ramping up in a crazy ass way. So I think it's more so just like the roles are being flipped on a scale, and he's just kind of more so commenting on that. Like
I feel like also like nowadays it's kind of a lot of people are kind of taking the European approach of like sex and dating because a lot of Europeans, they'll
be fucking.
Yeah, they'll be fucking, and it's only an act to them. It's not as personalized and painful as how Americans see it. You know, it's like if we fuck somebody, we fuck somebody, and then we come home back to each other. You know, out here it's like we'll get really wrapped up in the emotions of like, I can't believe you fuck somebody else, because we don't see it as something like that. We see it a little bit more sacred.
Yeah, I feel it. You gonna say something else? I fucked up your train of thought. I fucked it up.
He's flustered now.
See, I gotta know when to not speak. See, just like Kay was saying,
be like a fucking
genders.
Traditional woman, Travis. Bitch.
Hey, see, that's you. See, or no, not you, but that you gotta know it. Sometimes you let someone else lead. Sometimes you lead.
Yeah.
You see?
I thought we were supposed to lead a relationship together. You know, I thought we were gonna build something. We're supposed to bring the best out of each other.
Aww.
So in moments where you lead, I feel like you bringing out the best out
And
of
she
yourself.
should. And I don't think he was making that point. Like, I'm pretty sure there's times where the woman leads in a situation.
I think the way, but
he
he was speaking in like, when you speak in absolutes, I think the whole conversation becomes kind of silly. Like, if he was saying this is more my preference, I'm not into the type of girl that's saying, oh, I'm a boss bitch, I'm a bad bitch, like all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
This is my more preference. That's a different way to phrase it, because just because you see all them, like a lot of them type of girls online, and I'm sure he's around them, they're in his DMs and stuff like that, they're IG influencers or whatever, got it. But it's still like, you can't just act like this is happening to all women, or all women are like that.
Yeah.
Everyone is different, and when you start telling people like they shouldn't be like that, they should be more like this, a lot of women are gonna have an issue with it. I think you should more just speak on what your preference is, or just not speak on it at all, because at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to say this comment and all these women are going to go and change, and they're not going to call themselves that. It doesn't matter what they really want to do. Like, they can do whatever they want to do. If it's your preference or not, it's up to you.
It's true. Yeah, say it's your preference or say it's nuance. Like, it varies by person by person.
And it is nuance, bro. You try to seem like all it takes to be a wife is like, dang, you got to be bad. You got to be able to cook. You got to know when to not talk. And you got to let me run the show.
Yeah. And that doesn't look good. Yeah.
It's not a great shit. It's not a great...
especially in today's time where they're fighting the patriarchy. They're like, oh, fuck the patriarchy, death to the patriarchy. It's like, that's not the best way to word it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but back in the day, that shit was flying, bro. They was doing some crazy shit back in the day. Women was getting fucked over back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That shit was actually sad.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I do agree. Both the men and women do lead and in a lot of ways, the women do lead a lot of a relationship. Also, I feel like, well, I don't want to get too deep in this whole like a relationship conversation, but I think you do have to cater to each other's needs more than anything. The way he said it just sounded like he like, when I get home from practice, I need to get some head for sure. That really would have sounded like I need to have dinner cooked. I'm gonna eat, and then we get into it. That's what it sounded like his vibe is.
Yeah.
But also, he's a rich ass football player, so he probably just fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
CTE.
CTE. I didn't even think about that. But probably the CTE. Look, the CTE was talking, man. Y'all gotta give him a break. Yo, if I'm him, he either needs to double down, or he needs to be like, look, I have CTE.
Double down.
Y'all need to give me a break, man. Y'all don't know what this. Y'all want to talk mental health, but y'all don't care how many hits I took. I would just post up a video of the hardest time he got, the hardest hit he ever took in a game, and been like, yup, ... This was the one. I think this is the one, y'all. Sorry about that. I'm gonna get this worked out. Y'all don't know what my brain's looking like.
That's fucking hilarious.